generation was, with most people, was probably Michael Jackson. Just watching him and watching him be a performer really inspired me to like to do music. And what's crazy is my grandfather had this big jazz collection of records that when he passed, basically my grandmother gave them all to me. I collected all his jazz records, and I was probably like the only dude in my neighborhood, on my block, or anywhere around that was into like hip hop, because that was really in the 80s where kind of like it started kind of catching on in New York and things like that. And they had a little bit here in Philadelphia, with Schoolie D and Steady B, Cool C, um, who else? My man EST.
Right.
Um, yeah, man. And then looking at them, I was rapping. I was a dope rapper. I could rap when I was like 12, 13, 14. Like, I was spitting. And they couldn't believe it. I mean, before then, I was breakdancing. Nobody else was breakdancing. They're like, what is this kid doing? I was like, this is the culture that I like. Like, I was really into the culture back then, dancing and things like that. But when I started rapping, a lot of people took to me. They're like, yo, this little dude could really rap. Like, I never heard a young guy rap like this before. And actually, when I was, I think about 15, I was going to get signed. And my parents are like, nah, like, you're not getting signed. Like, you crazy? And I was like, what you mean? Like, this is what I love to do. But at that time, I was probably top ranked black tennis player in the nation. I went to private schools, and my parents sacrificed for me to go to private school. So they're like, dude, we're sacrificing everything for you to, pay this tuition for you to go to school and to pay for you to travel all over this country to play tennis. And it's not cheap. So we're not going to let you just drop it and then you're going to go dance and rap. Like, it's not happening. So, and both my parents were public school educators. My dad was the principal, and my mom, she taught grade school. And basically, what they did was they supported what I did, but they said, look, what we'll do is buy you equipment. So they had bought me, ASR 10, MPC, anything that I needed, DJ equipment. I had my 2 turntables, had my mixer. I had the Gemini mixer with the 5-second sample back then, before, before I had the MP, before I could really, where I used to stack my tape decks to tape over and over and over. The sound quality got shitty, but I used to use my tape decks to stack. And I even had my man, one of my best friends named Shane Bug. He used to do the beats manually while I used to play the sample like over and over again. And we used to tape it, and then once we got the track down, then we rap over it. But I just did it for fun, because I was like, well, they're not letting me, really perform and go do the things that I want to do. Because I actually, at certain contests, I would go, like they had down at the either Trocadero or, oh man, what was that club called? There was another club on Delaware Avenue back in the day, Gotham, down Gotham and all these other places where they had like little rap competition. I'll go. And I remember one night at the Trocadero, I was in this rap competition. I made it to the finals, but it got so late, I was like, my mom's going to kill me. I got to get home. I got to leave. I left. I was like, I'm not even, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even care. Like, I got to get home for my mom to kill me. What's crazy is she was like, you should have just called and stayed. I'm like, I thought you was going to kill me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had the car. I was still 16. Like, I had to get in the house before, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and it was lasting all night. I was like, I thought I had to go. You know what I mean? But I remember I made it to the finals. All my homies like, man, you should have stayed, dude. Like, you had it. Like, and I used to kill that stuff, because I used to rap. Like, I used to go to different music conferences and rap with, like, the youngsters. Remember the Illy Philly Funkster, the youngsters back in the day? And we used to have little ciphers in the hotel rooms and stuff, and I used to rip it. They'd be like, yo, who is this kid or whatever? And that was the first time I met Mobb Deep from their first album. Nobody even knew who they was from the first album.
Hit It From the Back?
Yeah, I think so. Like, that was, nobody listened to that album. That was like, you know what I'm saying?
I think they might have been on 4th and Broadway on that album.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they nobody listened to that album, but I had met them back then, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just made beats in my room and stuff like that all through high school, all through college. I went to Howard University on a full tennis scholarship. And I had, my whole room was just filled with equipment, and my homies used to come in that I was cool with in school, they used to come in and be like, what the hell are you into? Like, I'm like, I make music, I produce music. They be like, what? Like, how can you ain't tell nobody? I'm like, because I ain't, I do it for myself. I never really did it for anybody. And then all my friends would tell me, like, yo, you should produce for people. Like, you can actually make money off of this. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm playing tennis right now and going to school. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm supposed to do. So that's what I'm going to do. You know what I'm saying? And when I was in college, my godfather was best friends with this guy named LeBaron Taylor, who was supposed to give me an internship at Sony. LeBaron Taylor's the one who signed Thriller for Michael Jackson. And he was probably one of the biggest VPs in the industry at that time. And he had... what's crazy is I felt like every opportunity that I had always just failed. And not to say it failed, but that opportunity when it came about and him trying to get me an internship during the summertime while I was in college at Sony, he passed away. And it was like, oh, damn, that's what I wanted. Like, I just wanted to get involved or whatever. And even though my sister and my brother, they worked for Vibe magazine. They were doing all types of different things up in New York. But I wanted to figure out how to get my own foot in the door or whatever. So, basically, all through school, I just, I played tennis or whatever, and it was a bunch of different people that are in the industry today that, I went to school. We had a conversation earlier that I went to school with, like, I know I was in school with Yandy, I was in school with Lala, Eric Roberson,
Arson.
Who else?
From the Heatmakers.
From the Heatmakers. Who else? Your man just dropped the album.
Tracy Lee.
Yeah, Tracy Lee. And all these guys were a little bit older. Like when I had gotten there, they were like on their last leg there. Like they was just there, and they knew my older brother because he went there, and like all my old heads went there and stuff. And that's what kind of made me go to Howard, because initially I was gonna go to Miami first, and then I just decided Howard because that was like in my family that was kind of like a legacy also. Like my aunt went there. I think my great grandfather went there. My grandfather and his brothers went there, and my great grandfather actually, he went to med school at UPenn. He was the first one out of the first two to graduate from med school from UPenn. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to Howard. I'm gonna show, you know what I'm saying? I got skills in tennis. I'm gonna do this and do that. I'm gonna go to Howard and show my skills, and that's what I did, even though I didn't get the recognition that I should have gotten, because I feel like, it's a black school, and NCAA didn't look at them as being like one of them top-notch, top 50 schools in the nation. So even though I was beating kids that were top-ranked 100 in the nation, I wasn't getting the recognition for it. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. There was a reason I felt like there was a reason for everything, and I got it. It was a good experience, though. It was a different experience, but it was a great experience. And like I said, I met a lot of people and know a lot of people that were at Howard at that time. My man, because my brother, he modeled, so he knew a lot of dudes that were, that I can't remember his name. The guy that started a Nietzsche. They used to come and do the like the fashion shows. I used to do the fashion shows and shit. You know what I mean? Back in the day, I used to be on that shit, man. I can't believe I did that shit, but I used to be on that shit. And then when I graduated, the thing about it is, when I graduated with college, it was like, all right, am I gonna go pro now? And
as a tennis player.
Yeah, as a tennis player. And the problem is that you need sponsorship and a certain amount of money to be able to travel and travel different places for flights, for stay, for food and things like that. And I couldn't get the sponsorship and even the places where to train. So I basically said, you know what? After I stayed in D.C. for maybe about half a year, I was in between D.C. and Baltimore. Because what's crazy is when I was in college, I used to go up to Baltimore and produce records for like all the hustlers and shit. So when I watched The Wire, that shit's real. Like, I used to be in them projects are deep in Baltimore, dog. Like, they were deep. Like, I used to be in them junks like, I can't believe I'm in this shit. Fucking trying to make. But I was making good money though. Like, I was making good money just producing, taking my money, going back to Howard. Like, going up. Like, I had a couple hustler dudes down there that paid me a couple grand for some joints and stuff. And I just make my beats all day, be out. On the weekends, I used to do it. Like, I used to just go to Baltimore, make my beats, bang with a couple dudes up there, bang, I'm right back to Howard and stuff. So people thought, you know, I had money and stuff. Like, I ain't got money. I'm just out here hustling like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? I just did it a different way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So after I left D.C. and Baltimore, I went straight to New York. I lived in New York in St. Albans. But who did I live with? I lived with my homie that was also in D.C. Because I used to live with a guy named Frankie that was signed to Chucky Thompson.
Frankie was dope.
Frankie was signed to Chucky Thompson.
Album.
Frankie helped me learn. He taught me a lot about music, and he taught me a lot about, you know, just doing my music a certain way or whatever else. Where I was used to a certain way, and then he taught me a lot because he had Chucky and he had Rich Harris, so they were working on. They did his album, and it didn't fly the way he wanted it to, but you know, there's some dope dudes. Like I watched that whole thing unfold. Like I just couldn't believe it. I was like, I can't believe you're not beasting right now, dog. Like, and cause we lived together. Me and Frankie lived together actually, and my man Sherwin is the one that put us together. Who's a friend of a guy named Bobby that I grew up with here, who's one of my old heads, and that's who I moved with to New York in St. Albans with my friend Sherwin. When I moved there, I lived with him and we were working on albums or whatever. But at the same time, my brother was living in Harlem, so I used to go to New York during the daytime or whatever, and at nighttime, while I make beats in the day and sing Black Tie and all them dudes used to be hanging on the corner and stuff like that. I guess it was in the same neighborhood as 50 and everybody else. L Cool J lived down the street. It was crazy. It was right in St. Albans. It was off of Liberty Ave, and I used to go at the park and play basketball with this dude named Roy Ivey, who actually is in the league. He played for Texas, and now he was playing for the Sixers for a little bit and also for Oklahoma. And we used to, you know, play basketball and stuff, and then I used to go produce, and then I used to go into the city. And who I used to mess with in the city was my brother, because my brother at that time also was, he was styling with June Ambrose. And she used to have us like around like Puffy. She was cool with like what's the dude's name that did all the videos back then for like Missy and everybody? Hype Williams. We used to like at that time Hype Williams. Yeah, I remember being at the table with Hype Williams, Aaliyah, Timberland, Missy, my man Fred Jordan, and my brother. And how we got with them was that at that time, I know June was styling for all of like Puffy stuff. Like she was doing all the Puffy stuff, and my man Fred Jordan was at MTV. And I remember me and him used to be my man. He was real cool with my brother, and me and him kind of built a relationship because I used to go pick him up. We used to ride and just ride out to music and stuff like that. We had a big interest in music, and I remember that at that time he was like, "Look, I know you out here producing. I'm about to get these dudes named Neptunes. I'm telling you, these dudes is hot." And at that time, he was going to get with Neptunes, and his man was hip hop. He was like, my man hip hop over Roc-A-Fella. I want to introduce him too. I'm about to start this production company and management, you know what I'm saying, and manage all these producers. So you're going to be in. I'm telling you, I got you. So I'd be like, all right, Fred. Like, Fred Jordan was the man. I was like, I know you're the man of MTV. Like, you gonna hook me up. You know what I'm saying? So I remember one night, that's when I met Pharrell for the first time. And I knew Pharrell. I didn't know Pharrell, but I always seen Pharrell at Hampton because my cousin went to Hampton. My wife went to Hampton. And anytime I go out to the parties, I'll be seeing Pharrell out there. You know what I'm saying? And we had like not mutual friends, but mutual girls, I should say. Like, you know what I mean? Because he had a lot of little shorties. I had a little bit of shorties or whatever. And they all, you know what I mean? He'd be coming at certain shorties that I knew. And they'd be telling me, like, yeah, what's the name he talked to? I talked to me. And I don't know Pharrell. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't think about Pharrell. Like, the fuck is Pharrell? You know what I'm saying? But he was one of them cool dudes out in Hampton. I remember seeing him at a couple of the, they called them cabarets out in Hampton back in the day. You know what I'm saying? They weren't even like parties. They was like cabarets or whatever else. Boy used to come in with his boy had leather pants on and shit. Like, he was the first, like, because he was the first dude I ever seen, like, out there to be like, because I'd be like, yo, who the fuck is dude? Like, he'd be on some stylish shit, you know what I'm saying? Because most, out there in Virginia, most dudes wasn't, like, on some stylish shit. But Pharrell's always been on, like, on some stylish shit or whatever. I could say that. But then I met him again when he came to New York. And I remember that, because when he came to New York, I think they were working on Khaleesi's first album. And when this is what happened, when them dudes was in the studio, they just started bouncing from studio to studio, just playing shit. And that's when they had the joint with Noriega or whatever. And once they got in with one person and they start, because back then you could be in Sony or any of those studios, and 5 or 6 rooms would be banging full of artists, different type of artists, and you could literally go from studio to studio to studio to studio to studio to play your shit and get it placed. That's how easy it was. Today you can't do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? The shit is all spread out. I mean, even in LA, the shit is spread out a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, because LA spread out. It's not like New York. New York, you could literally go to one studio, have 5 rooms filled with different artists, go down a block, 2 blocks to another studio, 5 different rooms filled with artists, and really get your shit off that way or whatever. But basically, that's when they were starting to really, land a lot of placements and get their sound out there and stuff. And my man Fred was like, yo, these dudes about to hit. I'm telling you, they're going to be big. We going to do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to start this production company, this management group and stuff like that. And I'm going to manage them. I'm going to manage you. And there's another kid, I couldn't remember his name, but that he was going to manage. But my man OD, he died. He passed away. And I remember the night because I went over to his crib. It was over in Jersey, I believe. His apartment was over in Jersey City, and we went over there, man. Me and my brother's like, what the fuck, yo? Like, the shit was crazy. And then it was just another instance in my mind. It's like, yo, I'm never gonna get on. Like, and not to say that was how I wanted to get on, like, cause that was my man. Like, that was one of my homies. You know what I'm saying? And I felt just like, but I still felt like everything has always been a setback, you know what I'm saying? So, after that happened, I stayed up in New York for a little while, and then I went back home. I came back to Philly, and then I started doing a lot of work with over this guy named this girl named Connie, and a dude named Omar, and Jay Irving, and Zori LaBelle. And also my man Leon Huff. I started working out at Philly International again. Like I started out at Philly International, and what's crazy is when I was at Philly International, we had the bottom floor, which is we call 609. We had the whole bottom floor, and me and Pop Huff and a guy named Shane Bull, we used to just go back and forth, just making beats and things like that. And that's how I got introduced to D-Dot. Because we used to go to New York, and he used to be in a studio in New York called Brielle, and D-Dot started kind of taking our stuff and kind of trying to, like, spread it out and get placements and things like that. It didn't work too well, but he was an inspiration, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was a good dude. He invited us to his crib out, and he had a crib out and was that Teaneck? That wasn't Teaneck. Some nice neighborhood, like, all over the bridge or whatever, and it's just, he was an inspiration to me because the Hitmakers period were inspiration. And I got to meet Stevie J back then, when he was with the Hitmakers and things like that. And because people today, they don't know who the fuck Stevie J. They be like, who the fuck is Stevie J? Like, where'd he come from? Like, y'all just don't know the music. If y'all don't understand the music, this dude Stevie J was a part of that shit back then. Like, he was a part of that team back then. That, from Jodeci to all the Biggie to, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was involved instrumentation wise as far as producing and things like that, because I know D-Dot didn't play a lot, but Stevie played a lot of that stuff, regardless of whether he produced it or not, you know what I'm saying? And even people didn't understand Puffy's role. It's like Puffy had an ear for that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, he understood what was dope, which makes you an actual producer, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you gotta see what happened was when everybody started trying to go do their own thing, a lot of shit didn't work out. You need that mastermind and that key to help make it turn. You know what I'm saying? And Puffy was that key. He opened up the doors and he made that shit turn. And I remember one time he came in there. We was in, I don't know what studio it was in. This is a while ago. And I just watched him, and he basically was telling Stevie J certain shit like, turn this down, turn that up, do this, take this out. And like he was producing the shit. Not physically, like, he didn't make the actual beat at least I didn't hear him make the beat, but he was actually putting it into a form where it's like, this is radio ready now. You know what I'm saying? This is what it should sound like when it's finished and polished, which actually makes you a producer. So when people say Puffy's not a producer, you're wrong. He is a producer. He just not the same way a producer. You just making the beat. Because there's a lot of cats that can make a beat, but at the end of the day, there's certain things that need to be tweaked about that beat to create that perfection to it. You know what I'm saying? And basically, I got off track. Basically, when I was here in Philadelphia, dealing with over at Gamble and Huff Studio and stuff like that. I used to be all up in the studios, and they allowed us in the vaults and everything. I used to get records and wave files and stuff that people never. I still got them that people would love to have right now. Like I got the breakdowns of the whole like.
You have the stems.
Oh yeah, I got the stems of the OJs, fucking Teddy Pendergrass. I got some shit, dog. Like. Actually, they might kill me right now if they knew I had some of this shit. They'd be like, how the fuck you get this shit? Like, but, that was kind of like family. Like, Khalif Gamble and... Because I used to rap with them back in the day. Like, Khalif and I, as Kenny Gamble's son, we used to have a rap group together and stuff. So, Kenny Gamble used to actually, provide us with our wardrobe and all types of shit.
You got stem files of Gamble and Huff, MFSB and...
Dog, I got some shit. And I don't even sample it. I just hold on to it. It's music, man. I'm in love with music. You know what I'm saying? It ain't always about like trying to get over and trying to do certain shit. I'm in love with music. So, like I said, back then I was down Philly International. I was also over at Pat LaBelle's studio they had on Locust Street with Zoe LaBelle, Omar, and Jay Irving, and basically, I was back and forth producing. I also had, I remember one time I was sitting outside of Philly National, at the bottom floor. We used to sit outside when school got out. Everybody used to, all the girls used to walk by. Like, people used to be everywhere because they had the Art Institute, just people all on Broad Street because we just get outside. And I don't know if you know who he is, a dude named Adam Blackstone. Adam Blackstone is the one, he's the, he basically is the music director for Jay-Z, Kanye, Justin Timberlake, plays the bass. This is when he was in high school. I used to bring him in like, yo, come play the bass on some shit, dog. Like, I thought he was dope. Like, I used to have him playing bass on everything or whatever. He also produced on a lot of, like, the Backstreet Boys. Like, he produced a lot of shit, too. Like, big time, dude. Look him up. Adam Blackstone. Like, big right now. Like, huge right now. I used to bring him in, play bass and stuff like that. I met him just walking down the street coming from, I think he went to Kappa. He played the bass and stuff like that. Well, he was at that Kappa or the Art Institute playing the bass or whatever. And I used to give him, equipment and shit so he can, produce and shit like that. And you better remember that shit. I used to give him shit so he could produce it. But when I see him, yo, he always shows me love, man. Like, he's a real good dude. And basically, from there, I had another kid that used to come. Oh, from there, my best friend, this guy named Ryan Presson, he basically used to always been around and we used to always go to, his dad was in the Temptations. So we used to always go to AC to go see his dad perform and stuff like that. So I was always in tune with a lot of different, artists and musicians and things like that, where, I was trying to figure out, like, how do I get into this industry? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like fighting to get in the industry. And I remember one time I went up to Roc-A-Fella and they wouldn't let me in the back. This is at Baseline. They wouldn't let me. It was me, my man Pop, and Shane, and we went all the way up there to play these beats. And they wouldn't let us in the back. And I was like, y'all motherfuckers gonna let me back here, dog. Like, and I remember the receptionist, the lady was like, no, y'all can't go back. They got a session back there. And then one time Jay popped his head out, like, and then he went back. And I was like, yo, like, let me go and let me just play my shit. Like, can I play my shit? And she was like, nah, you can't go back there. They're having a session today or whatever. I'm like, that's the best time. Like, let me go back there and play the shit. And it was like, wait a minute, we'll see if you can. And finally it was like, nah, you can leave your beats and then we'll see you later. Like, so I'm like, I'm in there punching the air like, you motherfuckers, like, y'all gonna let me in this building, yo. Like, you're gonna let me in. So, came back to Philly. I did a couple different projects, independent projects. Nothing ever happened with them or whatever else. And then I just said, me and my best friend was like, yo, let's get an apartment. Like, we just wanted to get an apartment, and we was like, let's do a studio. Because I asked my best friend, I was like, yo, why don't you just manage me, dog? He was like, I don't manage, you know what I'm saying? But he was like, I want, I love music just like you. You know what I mean? My pops and the Temptations, like, it's in my blood, I guess. So that's what he did. Like, he started managing me, and he started trying to help me get certain things together and putting them out, and even with my other friends and stuff like that. And so when we went to go get an apartment, we went to go get a job. And when we went to get a job, we did this job called TSS, which was Therapeutic Staff Support, where we used to go in schools and public school systems with kids and sit with kids that had like mental health issues and things like that. Sit with them all day. Like, some of these little kids was crazy, dog. But it was a job, you know what I'm saying? So that's what we did during the daytime. And then we came home, we built a studio. What's crazy is we built a studio in the basement. We had a 2-bedroom apartment. It was a bi-level 2-bedroom apartment down 17th and Wallace. I'll never forget it. Right off of Broad Street, North Philadelphia. And we turned his room into this. Well, first we had 2 rooms. Then in the hallway where the kitchen was, we turned into a studio. So we had the studio, the 2 rooms, and we were just, I was just in there banging out, making beats and stuff. And I was just getting tired. I was like, man, when the fuck we gonna get on, man? Like, I'm making all these beats and shit, and this shit ain't going nowhere. And Ryan just kept saying, dog, chill out, dog. Like, it's gonna happen. We gonna figure it out. We just gonna find out. We gonna work it out. And the girl that got us her job, this girl named Ajua, got friends with Sparks. So Ajua was like, yo, I can probably give you some music to Sparks. Sparks is in with, like, Roc-A-Fella and them or whatever. So I was like, sure. So when he gave this stuff to Sparks, Sparks took my shit up to up top to New York. Played the shit, niggas was like, oh shit, what the fuck is this? Came back down, took a couple more things up. Then they were like, how much shit do you got? Chris came to my house maybe about a couple weeks later after Sparks did that. And, cause Sparks would record his shit up top with my shit. But when Chris came to my crib, me and him just went in the basement. Yo, we knocked out maybe about, the first night knocked out about 5 records, dog. Like, all night long.
You still got them?
Yeah, I do. And at my crib, when you just came, it's in my computer at my crib. I got everything. I got all my files and everything from day one. That was the name of my production company back then, called Day One. Because people say Day One Homies now. We started that shit back then, like my Day One Homies, like from day one. You know what I'm saying? And basically, when Chris and I did that, and he started taking that shit up top, they was like, yo, who the fuck is this young boy? You gotta bring him up. And then from that point on, when I went up, Jay started, because Chris would bring all his shit to Jay, and then Jay would sit there and listen to that shit, but like, he just nod his head like, okay, I got some shit. You got some shit. You got some shit. And then Dame, because Dame was everywhere. Dame everywhere. He just everywhere. And then Biggs had started kind of getting involved as well. But, he was the man behind the scene and everything. And then when Biggs got involved, Biggs was actually the one that was like, I want to give that kid a song deal. Bring him up. Like, he's going to be a part of the team. Like, he's a part of the team. And then, I started doing records with Mac and everybody. And then Mac, since we were in Philadelphia, we called my studio home base. Since we used to go to Baseline, then we said my studio was home base. And then when Mac used to come over, cook food and shit, that motherfucker cooked. He used to cook food. The whole property used to be over there. And we just be banging out records. The crazy thing is, me and Chris banged out so many records. A lot of the records, we would just take some of his shit off, his verses off, and then put other motherfuckers on and create all them other albums and shit. Like, if you really listen to it, if you looked on a lot of them albums, I might have like 7, 6, 8, a lot of joints on them albums for one producer, you know what I'm saying? But we were banging out so much, and then that was the time where Ryan was like, I told you, the more shit you got, the more shit we can get done. And then Ryan got smart in the game. Ryan started taking their phones and start emailing like Cam and emailing this person like, yo, my man got beats. You gotta come get him. They going like hotcakes right now, dog. He started, anybody that he could get their phone, dog, he started texting them boys like, yo. And that's how I started getting with a lot of other, artists and things like that, was from him actually being sneaky and going and taking their phones and texting them like, yo, hit this boy Ryan and stuff. And what's crazy is, a lot of times, Ryan used to go up to New York and shop my beats and stuff like that, start getting placements and things. And then when I had a session, he'd be like, yo, you got a session this time, whatever. I go up there, I go in the room, and niggas be like, who you? I'm like, Chad. He'd be like, where the other curly head boy at? And I'd be like, who, Ryan? He'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's my manager. They'd be like, oh, I thought he was the boy that made the beats. Like, nah, I make the beats. They was like, oh, all right. So I was like the studio rat, and Ryan was the boy that was always politicking and going up there and being, talking to a lot of different people and things like that to, get in the game and stuff. And basically from that point on, that's what started everything. And that's what got me involved in doing a whole bunch of different things and kind of being down and being the, producer of Roc-A-Fella and State Property. And a lot of people think like, yo, you signed to Roc-A-Fella? I was like, nah, nobody was ever signed to Roc-A-Fella. Like, Just Blaze and Kanye were signed to Roc-A-Fella. They were signed to G and Hip Hop. And that's how they got on all those, because G and Hip Hop were A&R and all those albums. So when they signed Kanye and Just, that's how they got a lot of those placements and things like that. I know they had Kanye, Just, Bink, what's my other man? Ski. That's what I was talking about. Ski. Who else? They had Rock Wilder. Roc-A-Fella at that time was the Rock. So it's like, they had them producers, like, and they could get at anybody, and they started getting Pharrell and a bunch of other, and Timbaland and stuff like that. So it was like, that's what kind of started it all. And then that big break is what fucked a lot of shit up, dog. Like, it fucked a lot of money up for motherfuckers. Is when Dame went left, Jay went right. And then it just, a lot of things kind of fell. And then, Jay took that vice presidency over at Def Jam, and basically I went on tour. I remember I went on tour with when there was the R. Kelly and Jay-Z tour. I went on that tour with the Young Gunz, Freeway, Bleak. Who else was there? Yeah, it was Young Gunz. We was on the bus. We was on the tour bus. Jay and them flew everywhere. We was on the tour bus traveling everywhere. Yo, dog, I'll never do that shit ever again in my life. But that shit, it was an experience, you know what I'm saying? But we was working on the Brothers from Another at that time, and I was doing a whole bunch of other stuff. And I was, working in the hotels and on a bus and things like that. And basically, Jay and them were saying, look, we about to start a whole new entity. Dame was like, I'm starting my entity over here. Jay was starting his entity over here. And I remember Tata came to me at the end of the tour and was like, yo, we got all these jobs that we lining up right now. I'm about to, I'm putting this team together, producers and stuff. I want to manage you. Me and Jay about to do some things. And I was like, all right, but I got my man now. Tata was like, I ain't trying to hear nothing about your man. I remember sitting in the office and Jay would just sit there and just, and it was crazy about Jay is like, he never really looked at me. It was like, he would look past me. And it was like, all right. Like, he was watching the TV and shit. And he would say one word, he'd say something to me, and then he'd watch TV again. Like, Jay always made himself feel like he was untouchable, which was a good thing. Like, he always made himself feel like, or made everybody, and make it seem like, yo, I'm untouchable. You can't touch me. You know what I'm saying? You can know me, but you can't touch me. You know what I'm saying? Only certain people that I know that's around me can actually touch me. And that's how I felt with him. And Tata was like, yo, I'm going to take... This is the crazy part. Tata took me to Big John. You know what I'm saying? And Big John was over at trying to... Because I didn't have a publishing deal or anything, so he took me over to Big John. I met Big John, and I think that was at Sony. And basically, they was like, yo, we want to get a publishing deal. But then Tata had another meeting, was like, look, I'm going to be your manager. Ryan's not going to be your manager. And then I kind of took the step of saying, I'm going to stick with Ryan. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I started with him. I'm going to finish with him. You know what I mean? And then what's crazy is that's when they just signed Rihanna. That's when they just signed Neo. They signed all these different acts. And from that point on, dog, I swear, everything kind of seemed went downhill. Because it was like, and I would see Tata here and there, and Tata be like, I told you. What's up? What you doing? I told you should have came, you know what I mean? Should have been with the team or whatever. And I'd be like, I'm good or whatever. And then my man Ryan, actually, things kind of slowed down, and then Ryan started he started managing Freeway, and then we started working on Freeway's album, and and uh, and then he started managing like writers and things like that, and he started getting into publishing and stuff like that. And right now, Ryan is probably one of the biggest VPs of publishing. He's over at Warner Chappell. He signed Mike Will. He's the one who helped put the Miley Cyrus and Mike Will shit together. He he's the A&R of Nico and Vin's album. He is he just got an award at the Hal Award. I was just out there. He had the award, and Big John is his boss right now. So it's like it's just weird. Like the whole shit is weird. And right now, I mean that's like my best friend. Like that's my family. You know what I'm saying? And even as brothers, we trying to figure out like, you know, how do I get back involved so much the way I was before? Because I kind of took a step back. Like when things started going downhill for me, I kind of took a step back and I I had a family. I got married. I started creating a bunch of those different businesses and things like that. I had a catering company. I had fucking I started my own tennis shit. I had helped the South African create this tennis academy and stuff, and I got into teaching tennis, which was very lucrative. Like, don't get me wrong, it's just different than music. But I always had my studios. I always did music, and even the years, like I would say, it was like 3 to 4 years that I wasn't even shopping anything. I was just going to the studio every night and just make beats, just because I loved it so much. It wasn't even about trying to get it out there, and even my even Ryan was like, "Yo, dog, like you shopping or what you doing?" I was like, I don't know, man. I'm just it was a change in the industry. Even the sound was different, and I felt like dealing with Logic, I had to learn it all over again. Like I wasn't using the MP and all the outboard gear and and the analog gear and the boards and things. Right. Everything was in the computer, so it was like I felt like I had to learn everything over again, and I wanted to learn it to understand it to get that feeling back. And basically, what leads up to today, where I feel like I'm back and I've been producing a lot. I've been going to LA trying to shop a lot of different things. My last placement probably with Kendrick and the Family Soul. I mean, people don't look at them as big artists, but as long as I'm still doing music for certain artists and things like that, I'm still working with Chris. I know Mac just got out. I'm probably do some stuff with him in a minute. It's just a different industry now, and a lot of these young guys. I mean, you got to figure. Anybody with a laptop got a studio. Anybody. And these young guys, they made it so easy that these young guys can make beats like this. They be knocking like 5 beats out like this and be like, God damn, like, you finished the beat? But yeah, they finished it. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's just the sound of the day. And I don't hate it, because I be in the club rocking to a lot of that shit too. I just can't ride out to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no longevity to it where it's like, I could still throw shit on that I did and still love that shit. Like, oh, this is that shit. Or even shit that I used to listen to back in the day. Shit that Biggie did. I could throw on and be like, yo, this was that shit. You could play that shit today. Some of this shit that they playing today, you won't be able to play 5 or 10 years from now. Because they're like, I mean, it was for the moment. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the way the industry is. So what I did was I started getting a couple young guys under me. And I start, staying in tune with them and actually, learning from them as well as they learn from me. Where it's like, I got a sound now. Now I'm in. Now I feel like I got that. I kind of got the sound of today. But at the same time, I'm implementing that soul and that feel to it. Where I feel like it's actually going there. Because people like the Snowman, Jeezy, and Rick Ross, and even Wale, like a lot of these guys that are rapping too, still rapping and stuff like that, they're doing that and they're making it sound good. You know what I'm saying? Where even though some of the other, and even Kendrick Lamar, like if you listen to the albums, like they got feel to them. You know what I'm saying? So basically that's where I'm at with it right now, and just been, I've been trying to grab a couple different artists to work on and things like that, and trying to make it happen. I had a girl named Tierra Whack, who I think is going to be, as female-wise, can be one of the next biggest female rappers ever. She a little mad at me right now over some stupid shit, but at the end of the day, I think she's probably one of the best female rappers I've ever heard, and I, and regardless if she's still rocking with me or not, Like I'm there to help her out. You know what I'm saying? Because
is this your apology to her right now? For the...
no, I haven't even had a conversation about the apology. Like I don't like. It's just weird, man. But it was crazy. She texted me last night, like, "Yo, I need this." I'm like, "Yo, you haven't even talked to me." Like, you know what I'm saying? But she's young. She's 19 years old. So certain things she might understand that I do understand. Um, she's hungry, and a lot of times with these young artists, they don't understand patience. Patience means a lot. And the way I just explained my story, you see how long it took me to actually get some type of light of day. And now I'm back trying to get light of day again. But I'm patient. I'm not rushing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a producer, I don't have to be in the limelight. I could produce for the rest of my life and you not even know. And so I could look old as fuck and it don't matter and still make hits. You know what I'm saying? I could look ugly as fuck and it don't matter and still make hits. You don't gotta see me. So that's the great thing about being a producer and a writer. So with her, I think she'd be dope. I'm still holding on to that. I don't care what she says right now. I'm gonna do as much as I can to make that work. And then like I said, I got these young guys. I got a guy named Jay Melodic and DJ. Jay Melodic, I mean, you want to talk about trap? He trapped out. This boy got joints like, I mean, back to back to back. You'll be like, shit, this kid got joints. And DJ is probably going to be, as far as a writer, one of the next hottest writers and throughout the whole industry. Like, he's going to be that next dude. I promise you. And these kids, and I had another producer that used to rap, and I told, little white kid from Virginia. Damn, what the fuck is his name? He used to come. His pop used to bring him to my house. He's actually probably one of the biggest, youngest producers right now out there. He did all the Maroon 5 stuff. He did Wiz Khalifa, John, Work Hard, Play Hard.
I can't think of his name.
He's from Virginia. His pop used to drive him up, and I used to record him rapping. I got them files too. So you can't deny it. He used to rap, and I used to be like, dude, forget this rapping stuff. We gonna work on producing, because if you don't sound better than Eminem or any of these other dudes, we're not doing it. Like, I'm telling you, I help you learn how to produce, because you actually produce music too. So let's do that. You know what I'm saying? Benny Blanco, look him up. Probably one of the biggest, youngest, hottest producers out right now. I mean, he's huge. He did Katy Perry, Kiss the Girl, or whatever, when she first came out. Like, he owned that project. He did Maroon 5, like Jagger, like the Payphone John. Like, he's got some major hits, if you look him up. He's another cat. So between Adam Blackstone and him, like, come on, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like, yo, I've touched a lot of dudes that, or some cats that have.
What was your first industry check?
My first industry check was a cat named Journalist. He was signed to Motown. I had a record on with Journalist, and actually they did the remix was done with Journalist and Beanie Siegel. And it was a dope record. Like, it wasn't a remix, actually. That was the actual record, because they wanted to use it as a single, and I used the Fat Boys beat from off of Crush Groove. Was one of my favorite. Was that Crush Groove? Yeah, it was Crush Groove. That was one of my favorite movies, and I remember, what sample was that? It was when they was in school and they had a backpack, and I can't remember the name of the sample, but the shit was dope. It was Beanie Siegel and Journalist, though. That was my very first industry check.
How did the Cameron Purple Haze records come about?
Ryan
Texting,
getting us in there, and then once we got in, Cam and them are cool motherfuckers, though. Like, they were some cool dudes. Like, dude, I used to go in their sessions with, because I was also on Jim Jones, on a couple Jim Jones albums. I was on Joel Santana albums. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they all cool. They were cool dudes, and they all family, for real. And Ryan got in real tight with them, and then, they started kind of knowing me since I was in there mixing the records and stuff. But, like, watching them dudes, yo, you learn a lot. Because they were some hustlers, dog. Like Jim Jones, hustler. Like, he started figuring out how to put his hands into everything, whether it was directing videos. I mean, at one point he was directing state property videos. Like, what the fuck? Dealing with camera and them, like, I learned a lot. Like, yo, they would be recording in one, like, they would, like, in Sony, you had the actual studio, you had the booth, and then you had like a lounge area, like a big lounge area and stuff. And then sometimes you might have like an extra room. Yo, they had a setup in the lounge area, a setup in the booth, and a setup in the regular studio. Like, they was recorded, like, they would just be knocking stuff out. Like, that was Dipset. Like, Dipset has always been on, like, knocking shit out. Like, they was really on their hustle, John. Like, that's one thing I can say about, like, Harlem niggas. Like, them dudes, ain't same as Brooklyn niggas, but them Harlem niggas be knocking that shit. They was always on their hustle game, you know what I'm saying? Brooklyn niggas kind of moved a little differently. They was a little more suave with it, Harlem niggas. But I knew a lot of Harlem niggas, though. They were just, you know, you gotta think, Puffy, Dame, like, you know, Jim Jones, like, all these dudes, like, you gotta look at their grind, you know what I'm saying? And then you gotta look at, like, you know, Jay-Z grind and Biggie grind and who else? I mean, it's just New York. New York got, you know, every borough had their own way of doing shit. You know what I'm saying? But they all had their own way of hustling. Like, they was some hustle dudes, and even Philly, like, the same way. We had our own way of hustling and doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Which was totally different than how West Coast did it. You know what I'm saying?
Was I'm going to assume, I may be wrong, that the Young Gun single was probably your top selling production. With Pharrell.
Yes. Yeah, I would say so. Because it was a hit.
Yes.
It was definitely a hit.
Did Luther Vandross Estate hit you up for the publishing?
What? Hit me. Smacked me like 20 times, dog.
To the top, baby. I think I might wife her. You know, powder blue, rocker with suit, white Nike. My like her. She been with me through the grind, girl. You put in that time like Bill Lifers. Got tight, used to hook you.
Kidding me? He smacked me. Yeah, I mean, I still got some checks from it, but he smacked me like he smacked all of us. Like what?
Give me that.
Give me that. Give me that.
And then you sampled him again for the second album.
Dog, but the problem was they should have released the shit. They didn't release it as a single. That should have been the single. Because that would have been another record that would have been in rotation.
And it had 112
dog,
on
let
it.
me tell you, yo. Let me tell you how hype, what's his name? He was president over at Def Jam, dog. And that's what...
Kevin Lyles?
No, not even... No, Kevin Lyles wasn't there anymore. They left. It was Jay-Z and, he was with, Babyface.
L.A. Reid.
L.A. Reid. L.A. Reid loved the record. L.A. was like, got it. Y'all got it. Y'all got another one. Like Karen Kwok used to bring me in the office and stuff like, this is the one. Like, L.A. is going crazy over this record. And y'all don't release it as a single? What the fuck are y'all doing? I don't even know what record I can't even tell you what record they released. I don't even know.
Set It Off?
Set It Off. You know why? Take a guess.
Swizz.
Exactly. That was at the time when Swizz Beatz was on his, like, trying to come back and shit like that. Because he was I remember being in the studio with Beanie Siegel and him, and Swizz came in like, yo, I ain't take a shower for a week. He was like, I ain't take a shower for a week. I've been in the lab all week. Like, he came in like, look, playing all these records. And I remember the one record that went big, one of them that went big, I know he did, that was the one he gave to T.I.
Bring Him Out.
To Bring Him Out. He played it for. I remember played it for Siegel, and because I was mixing the Gotta Have It with Siegel. We was in the studio, and he came and played the Bring Him Out, and Siegel was like, "Nah, that ain't it." And then next thing you know, this boy gave it to, I guess, the T.I. T.I. came out with that Bring Him Out shit, and that shit flew out of here, dog. But see, it was the right record. It was the right record for T.I. It wasn't the right record for Mac. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But all them records he played though, he got them shits off. Cause I remember hearing all them like, yo, that's the joint. Like, he got them all off. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that was fucking Swizz. Like, I mean, what the fuck you gonna say to Swizz at that time? Like,
But you had Young Guns with another Luther sample with 112 on the hook. It was a hit.
Dog, I could listen to that record right now and groove to it, dog. No lie.
Don't Keep Me Waiting.
That was the joint.
Yeah.
L.A. Reid was going crazy over it, dog. I was like, what the fuck are we doing right now? What is going on? Why are we putting... But I'm telling you, you know why? Swizz. And it was Swizz relationship with who? Jay-Z. Because sometimes I look at Jay like... I'm like, Jay, you keep talking... Like, nigga, like... I grew up around Jews, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know Jews, you know what I'm saying? And back in the day, they used to have this thing called Jewish lightning, where they used to burn down the buildings to get the insurance money and stuff, right? So anytime Jay be like, yo, I'm the Jewish, you know, I'm the black Jew or whatever, I'm like, I'm part of that tribe, dog. And right now, it seems like you burning this shit down to get some insurance money right now, man. Like, come on, dude. Like, how are y'all picking this record? Like, why are you picking these records for these kids? And what's crazy is, some of the records that was even on the album, I was like, this ain't the album. We can't do a follow-up with this album for what we just came out with Tough Love. This is not the album. That's my word. Like, I said that. Like, this ain't the album. But they were so, like, trying to get it out and get moving and stuff because I guess he had to make it move because they were, once Roc-A-Fella kind of dropped, they had to re-sign them under Def Jam and they had to get them albums out. Same with Bleak album. They put it out at the same time. Bleak and the Young Guns album were put out at the same time, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
It was like, what are y'all doing? Fuck me up. Fuck me up. I don't know about them, but fuck me up. I was just like, I can't believe this shit.
Did you have any joints on Bleak's album?
Yeah. I had, was that Get Low? It might have been Get Low. One of them joints on Bleak's album. Yeah, I had a joint on Bleak's album.
Who did the joint? It might
Swizz did the single for Bleak also.
Yes. Get Right? No,
I don't know. Yeah. It don't matter. It don't matter. And look, dig this. So, dig this shit. So, when they did it, they shot the video out for the Set It Off for Bleak and for the Young Guns and them out in LA. Because I did a record with Daz that they cut to. You ever heard the record? It's like a West Coast record on that album with Daz Dillon. I did that record and they had Swizz dancing in the drum. I'm like, that's my record. Like, why would y'all put these two records out? Where's the other fucking record? Like, you gotta be kidding me right now, dog. Fuck me up, dog. Fuck me all the way up, But it is what it is. You know, it's an experience, man. That's how you gotta look at it. Experience. So,
what is it like working with Beanie Siegel in the studio?
What people don't know is Beanie Siegel is actually a Renaissance man. At the end of the day, yo, dude is he's a Renaissance man. He's a smart dude and has experienced a lot and has been a lot of different places. And I just wish he could channel that into a lot of more of his rhymes and how he comes off. Because I feel like this hood and this crew, certain people keep pulling you back, and it's like, dog, you should be out of here. And there's nothing wrong with being out of here. You're not going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like that place is still gonna be right there. But Mac was always the dude's like he always wanted to be involved. He always wanted to stay where he was. He never really wanted to be out of touch. And it's like, you're not being out of touch, dude. You're on another level right now. You understand and you've seen things that a lot of people in this hood or the hoods in Philly have never seen or would even understand. You know what I'm saying? So working with him was dope, man. Like, I remember I didn't get credit for... I helped... I remember he was on house arrest, man. I used to go out his crib all the time. He had a house out Lansdowne. I used to go out his house and stay out there. And we recorded that. He did this mixtape that was so fire, dog. When he was he was on his house arrest at one time. The one that Green Lantern put out. Everybody thought Green Lantern put that shit together. Fuck no, you just put his name on it. And I fuck with Green Lantern. He cool. That's my man. But, man, I was so mad that I was just like, yo, I needed credit for that shit, dog. I helped Mac put that shit together from day one. Like, the shit was so dope. Like, the way he just did the shit was just like, and I still got that shit somewhere. I don't know where it is. But I got that shit somewhere, and it was just like, sometimes I listen to that shit. Like, he's a dope dude, man, and and working with all them dudes, all them Philly cats, all the state property cats, because they all got different personalities.
I can imagine.
All different personalities, so they're all unique in their own special way, but dope. They're dope, man. Like all of them are dope, man. It's great working with them cats.
Let's talk about how the tracks came about. Like, what made you want to sample the song from Young Gunz? Did they think like, nah, we can't do that type of record? Like, were they open to doing something over the Luther sample?
Let me tell you this, them dudes trusted me, cause even the guy that had it, Crack was like, I'm not sure, cause originally Crack started the record cause Mac was locked up. You know what I'm saying? And that's why he was like, shout out to my boy Beans and my, you know what I'm saying? Because Mac was locked up at that time, and it was like, he was on some like, yo, yeah, like we got, you know what I mean, it's for Mac or whatever. And it literally took, it like, I had to pull teeth to make Crack do that record. I was like, because when you listen to it, it was like, it's not your regular like beat and all that other shit. Like, I'm not sure. I was like, Crack, I got a vision. And when I got this vision, do it. It's the same as Better Love. Like, there was a vision for that. You know what I'm saying? And even Ryan used to help me create like certain like I remember he gave Chris that first line. He was like, yo, you gotta use the J line to start that off. And once he started off, he was out of here with it. You know what I'm saying? And he actually did 3 verses on that record. And that we just knew that was a big record. And when we got Rel on it, that's when we was like, yo, that's a Young Gunz record. And then we had to get Neef on that joint. Neef, let me tell you about Neef. Neef was never the one. Neef was like, man, fuck all y'all. I'm gonna make money out here, dog. Like, I ain't thinking about none of y'all niggas. I'm out here to make some money. So I'm gonna have to hit this block or do whatever, because y'all ain't giving me no money right now. Chris was always a boy like, yo, I'm gonna go work. I'm gonna go in the studio. Neef was like, all right, I'll check y'all. Tell me when y'all finish and let me know when I gotta lay my verse. I'm gonna hit this block. Like, Neef was always the boy in the hood. Like, I'm gonna go hit this block right now. You know what I'm saying? And even Chris, he'd be like, yo, Chris, get the fuck out the hood, man. Like, why y'all niggas be chilling in the hood? Like, stop chilling there, man. Like, you don't know what could happen. You know what I'm saying? But, that's where the family, and that's, you gotta, it's like, when you from somewhere, that's where you feel most comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So a person looking on the outside might look like, that shit's crazy around there. You crazy? Like, you gotta be out of your fucking mind to be just chilling around there. But for them, it's like, yo, this is our family right here. This is all our family. Like, what you talking about? Like, we good. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, Neef was always the one like, man, I'm doing me. I ain't thinking about y'all because y'all ain't thinking about me. You know what I'm saying? So, but when we got everybody together, it was like, it was definitely a force to be reckoned with. Like, and Jay knew that shit. Jay knew how, like, Philly, let me tell you about Philly cats. Philly cats, like, we ride. We riders. And Jay knew and understood that shit. And that's why probably one of the biggest industry for Roc-A-Fella was here in Philadelphia. Like, with Roc-A-Wear or State Property or any of that type of clothing or anything. Like, that's what we was about. Like, them State Property dudes rode for Jay. Like, anytime he got into something with Nas or the Locks, anybody, yo, State Property was, man, they was putting they bulletproof vest on going up to New York. Like, what's up? Like, yo, we have it. We from Philly. We ain't with none of that shit.
So, like, to bring everything back to today, do you submit music to, like, Rick Ross and the Kendricks and like, how do you go about submitting beats today?
Well, today,
or placing beats.
Today, I've been reconnecting with certain, because everybody's different now. So people done changed labels. People done went different things. I just been connecting with a lot of people that I've known in the industry, and just sending stuff to them. Sending stuff to my man Ryan and stuff. He, like I said, he's VP over at Warner Chapel. With another guy named Juan Madrid that I knew for a long time. Who else? My homegirl Shani Gonzalez. She used to be under L.A. Reid. She's publishing over at BMG. My man Stanley took Big John's spot, I think, over at Sony. He's at Sony right now publishing. A lot of the industry has changed to, like, a lot of these important cats are really into publishing right now. You still have your A&Rs and stuff like that. So I've just been submitting to them. Ryan's brother, actually, is at Reebok. He's the one that signed Rick Ross to Reebok and stuff like that, and got Swizz Beatz over there. So I've been giving him stuff to try to give to Rick Ross or whatever else. I give stuff to Chris to try to get a Wale, because I know Chris be in the lab with Wale and also Meat Mills. But right now it's literally been a little less than a year since I've really been trying to push and get. I've been like, when I say trying to redefine and refine my stuff again, like I really been working on that. And the same way I felt like growing up I wasn't ready. I didn't feel like I was ready to come back, but now like I feel like I have stuff that I'm like, yo, y'all gotta let me in. You know what I'm saying? But it's still like pulling fucking teeth. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I forgot you did some stuff on the Freeway album. Yeah. Free at Last album.
Yeah. I did a banger with Free and a Scarface. That was my joint, yo.
That was you.
Yeah. That was my joint.
That was a hit.
Baby Don't Do It.
That was a hit.
That was my joint right there, yeah. Baby Don't Do It. Woo!
How's Freeway's work? It seems like Freeway has something going on like every year.
Let me tell you about Freeway. Freeway was the dude that he always wanted to keep moving. He always just, because sometimes some of these cats, they be like, man, I ain't gonna go do that show. Freeway like, I'll go do the show. I might not get what I want for it, but I'm gonna go do that show. And with him doing all that, he always stayed connected with the people and kept that crowd. And don't forget, Freeway always had them three big records. The one that was with on Mac, but he had Flip Side and
Rock the Mic.
And What We Do Is Wrong.
Yes.
Them records you can play anywhere, anytime, any given day, and it'll set something off.
That's his last 3 songs of his set.
Don't matter. Don't matter.
Crowd go crazy.
Exactly. So with those records, he's got longevity. You know, it's like the Temptations. You got some records, some bangers out there, you could last. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think. I mean, a lot of these cats that had those type of records, they can actually still go and do things and go different places because people won't forget those records.
Right.
They records that are everlasting. And then from that, he's just connected. He's so open to connect with so many different types of people. That's how he keeps moving in a sense. I mean, he's got a tour like every couple of months. He's always connecting with some new DJ to do like a whole album with. Like,
right.
Some of the other property dudes didn't want to really do that shit. You know what I'm saying? They felt like, nah, I ain't doing that shit. Where he was like, I'll do that shit. And that's what really kept him moving and kept him in the float and always doing. They got a show like every other day.
Yeah, every time I follow him on Instagram, he's
other day.
He's never in Philly.
And then you got to figure with Ryan, because Ryan used to manage him, and Ryan put this dude named Leighton that that went to school down there as well. I met through Julian or whatever. He's also like, he used to manage Freeway, but he also manages drama. So at the same time, like, he can book shit anyway, however, for both of them. And that's what it is.
Wow. Talk about how you got on the Young Dro album.
Jason Jeter. Jason, he fucked with my shit. He was on some shit. He used to bring me down there. I used to go down to Grand Hustle and working out at studio a couple times and stuff. And Young Dro fucked with my shit too. And he picked the record, and then they just kept calling me like, yo, you gotta come down. You gotta come down. You gotta come down. You know what I'm saying? I still got records with Young Dro that we never even did nothing with. Like, I just got the vocals and shit that we just down there recording and shit like that. So it's this, you know, they're cool. Like, I fucked with, and what's crazy is I had a T.I. record, but they used it for a fucking Sprint deal. I'm like, no. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, dog. But it was a dope record. I can't remember the name of the record. Something of a Hustler. Essence of a Hustler, something of a Hustler. This shit was dope.
Have you worked with any of the state property solo projects besides Beans?
Yeah, I did almost Crack Hole album. It just never came out. He had some shit on there too. Matter of fact, I found a CD the other day. I was banging the car like, yo, this shit will be crazy out right now if we put this shit out. Like, he's got a couple of joints. Like, I did like 7 joints on Crack.
So there's an unreleased PD Crack song from the Roc-A-Fella days.
Yeah. I got a bunch of shit, man. I got everything I had. Crack album, Owen Sparks. I did like 4 or 5 on their album, but they just couldn't. They didn't come out. I did everybody. No, the property was me. It was me and another kid named Bula, but I did way more than Bula. Like Bula had my man Big Face Gary trying to say that he was better than fucking Kanye and Justin, shit like that. I was being humble, like, yo, I'm just glad to be in the presence of these dudes. You know what I'm saying? Kanye he was acting a little funny sometimes. I'd be in the studio with him and shit. He'd be like, I'm over here, like, dog, like, what the fuck, yo? But it's all good. He Kanye, you know what I'm saying?
So did you think Kanye would ever be as big as he is today, back then?
Yeah, he was a talented dude. I mean, I seen it. And he, let me tell you about him, like, he had that passion that nobody else had. And what's crazy is Dame is the one who believed in it. Jay didn't see it first. Dame seen it first. And then when Dame signed him, because I heard when Dame signed him, Jay was a little mad. Like, that was one of the things that ticked him off. Like, you signing Kanye as a rapper? Like, what are you doing? But Kanye, he had that aggressiveness, that I'm here. What's up? This is what it is. I'm the best alive. You know what I'm saying? A lot of producers, like, I never really had that. Like, I was so humble to the point where it's like, I might have missed out on a lot of opportunities being too humble. Kanye was like, yo, I'm the shit. Can't nobody fuck with me. Which actually catapulted him into what he is today. Which, at the same time, like, even him and Just, they were like, I'm not saying they were idols of mine, but I looked up to them dudes. Like, listening to their music, I was like, yo, these dudes is hot. Like, I looked at their shit like, yo, I need to make sure my shit is just as hot as theirs, because they had them bangers. And, that's where he is today. I mean, it's Kanye.
Yeah.
Yeezy.
All right, let's play some music.
All right, what you want me to play? I mean, Kid Kenny, and he wrote the John. Kenny's playing the bass, like he plays the bass and all that other shit. We just be working, like we pass around and shit, like, you know what I'm saying?
Why they wanna kill me? They tryna take my life from me. All of these hated niggas tryna get close to me, pretending that they friends when I know damn well they my enemies. Why they wanna kill me? Why they wanna kill me? I'm just tryna live my life. They're tryna take my life from me. All of these hated niggas tryna get close to me, pretending that they friends when I know damn well they my enemies. Why they wanna kill me? Spending my time, got so much time. Girl, we can get a few in. Baby, tell me if you with it. I'm down for whatever. You need whatever. I'm feeling whatever, yeah. You know I'm down for whatever. I'm with it whenever. I'll fly you out of town. 'Cause girl, you're so important. I don't think you really notice. I don't do this shit to Smiling and daydreaming. Don't know what I'ma do. Boy, I'm such a fool for you. You're the only one. I won't ever go, ever go, ever go nowhere. Baby, you're the only one I want. And I just can't believe I found it's with you. I'll take my love all the way down. If it feels this right, it feels this right, then it can't be wrong. Cause I've kissed them all 1,000 times, and they ain't got nothing on you.
That's dope.
My man Biz did that. Another dude I work with, really dope producer. Let's see what other tracks we got.
I don't wanna buy love, I just wanna try love with you. I know there's something brand new. I know you haven't walked this road. I know that I think about you every second of the day, girl.
vibing out together and doing a bunch of different things. I'll be always posting like on my Instagram, Skull and Beats and stuff like that. But we really just a crew that vibes out and makes music together now. I mean, y'all know me as Chad West. This is DJ, super writer. This is Jay Melodic, super producer, Trapped Out. And this is Kaneet. He does a lot of the engineering and stuff. And we been here just every day rocking out. So we just gonna run through a bunch of different, joints and stuff that we've been creating over. I played a couple, I know I did.
How was it working
With Chad West?
with Chad West?
It's good, man. Chad is a cool, chill dude. He's funny. He sit there and like do this until you get the idea. You're like, no, it's not. No, it's not there. You be like, yo, that joint is right. Like he's hard on himself, but it's fun, man.
Okay.
Working with Chad, man, it's a good experience. Like, we get to blend some of what he knew how to do and what we know how to do and kind of like put it together and make a great sound. He being here late nights with us, it's just good to have him around. Inspiration.
Mr. No Filter.
Learning experience. Like you're you're able to learn what was, and then be able to apply it to what is actually now, and is, you know, kind of, it's like when you trying to learn your craft, kind of want to learn from somebody who's a master at it. So you gotta respect Chad for what he has done and what he will continue to do.
So you guys learn a lot from him?
Yeah, like how can you not? If you don't learn, you're an idiot.
Especially with sampling though, because I don't know how to sample. Like, he's like A1 with that.
You know how to sample? Oh, you gotta.
I'm not that good at it. I mean, I can do it because I can do whatever I want to do. But
Right.
you know,
What's the funniest studio session that's happened here?
Too many.
me the camera here every day, like
Too
in the
many.
corner, like.
It's too many moments.
It's too many moments. And you gotta keep them for some of them.
One time these guys was arguing, man.
I was just about to say that.
Classic.
That's crazy. I was gonna say no. I wasn't gonna say no name though.
Yeah,
Like he definitely just. Oh man.
Yeah, man, that was fun.
It was just a lot of passion in the room. That's all.
It's a lot of passion.
Like,
But that's good though.
Oh,
It's
man.
good, and it's good when you can have that passion and you feel some type of way, and then the next day everybody back cool and then working and doing what they need to do. So you know that's what creates a family. I feel, and that's what we're creating right now, and you will soon hear a lot, you know, a lot of different projects in the room.
Okay.